So I'd like to take a moment to share some fun facts about Arizona Senate candidate Mark Kelly, depicted here in a drawing by our friend Dav Yendler. So Mark Kelly was in the Navy and a freaking astronaut. And I found out there's some Instagram filter where you can like make it so that you get an astronaut head and it says like Mark Kelly, go Mark Kelly. So check that out. He is the husband of Gabby Giffords, who we'll be talking a bit more about in a second, a real American hero. He started an organization to promote solutions to gun violence with elected officials and the general public. He supports ending the tax breaks for the super wealthy and big corporations, and he is not taking corporate PAC money for his campaign, which means we got to come through with that grassroots donations. So Rudy, I wanted to turn it over to you to talk about some of Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords' work on gun control, because I know that's something you've been really involved with.
Yeah, thanks so much, Karen. So any of you that are watching us now know me, you know that I'm super involved with gun violence prevention. And what an incredible story that Gabby Giffords has, and her husband, right? Because he's been right by her side through all this. But Gabby Giffords was just in her third term as a U.S. representative. This was back in January 2011. She was shot in the head in an assassination attempt. Can you imagine being shot in the head just outside of Tucson during an event that she had with her constituents? She survived, and since then she's been able to recover her ability to speak, walk, read, and write. But you can imagine what an incredible journey that she's had. And she used to be a moderate on everything related to gun laws. But in the wake of federal inactions, a lot of states have taken up that mantle of gun safety, specifically since the tragedy of Sandy Hook Elementary back in December 2012, where over 20 small children ages 5 and 6 were killed. So since 2012, there have been 45 states that have enacted more than 350 gun safety laws. And I'll tell you this, as someone who's really involved, gun safety laws work. And when they're passed, you see a reduction of gun deaths. I mean, we're talking about 40,000 people every year are killed. That's 100 people a day. About 100 people a day are killed by guns. That's a serious problem that we have, an epidemic that we have in our country. But going back to Gabby and Mark, in January 2013, they launched an organization called Americans for Responsible Solutions. That's a nonprofit organization and also super PAC. And then they combined that with the Law Center to the Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence to become Giffords. So they brought those organizations together. And the Giffords organization, they've helped draft and defend a lot of these laws that I'm talking about through research that they've demonstrated that make residents safer from gun violence. But this inconsistent patchwork of state gun laws, they lead to guns being trafficked from one state to the next. So a lot of times you'll hear people like criticize, oh, but look at this city, they have the strictest gun laws, but they have the worst gun violence. Well, that's because the neighboring state has lax gun laws, and people are able to just drive over the state lines, right, and use those guns. And they've actually been able to trace guns, across many states. So you see a lot of the city gun violence happening in Chicago. The guns are coming from Mississippi. I mean, that's crazy to think that they're traveling that far, even though Chicago has very strict, or the state of Illinois has very strict gun laws. So it puts all Americans at risk, and the work that they're doing is absolutely incredible. And I'm so grateful for Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords, and that they've made this their lifelong work to try to change the gun safety laws in the United States. Now, it's not gun control specifically; it's more about common sense gun laws. So really, it's protecting the Second Amendment, but making sure that the guns are not getting in the wrong hands, and that's really important in the United States.